We seem to have concluded that strong men are dangerous, and that's partly because we think Western culture is a tyrannical patriarchy, and the only reason you get to the top is because you misuse power. And so all the men who are at the top of the hierarchy are all misusing their power, and they're all tyrannical, and all the guys who have the aim and ambition to achieve that are just tyrants in training. And that's sort of the basic attitude that we have towards our own culture and towards young men now.
Hi, I'm Felipe.
And I'm Lillian.
And this is the Postmodern family.
Thanks for watching our videos. We make 3 new videos a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. If you haven't seen our channel before, we are Americans living in the UK, living a traditional family life. Please hit that subscribe button now.
A few people have asked what's the whole deal with the name The Postmodern Family. Part of the inspiration for the name The Postmodern Family actually had come from watching a few videos by this guy named Jordan Peterson, who's a professor at a university in Toronto, who's a clinical psychologist. He actually still does, I think 10 or 20 or something hours a week seeing patients and everything in clinical psychology. But he's also like a massive intellectual. He has made it a goal in his life, it seems, to speak to the wrong and the evil of destroying masculinity and encouraging young men, encouraging them to get their act together and to sort their lives out.
Jordan Peterson, you've said that men need to, quote, grow the hell up. Tell me why.
Well, because there's nothing uglier than an old infant.
While doing so, integrating different disciplines, so all the way from neuroscience, behavioralism, psychology, literature, history. He's weaving all the, a magnificent rug of knowledge from these different strands. He does it in a way that is clearly evident, that is from a place of compassion and love for humanity. This fascination with him that I've developed, I eventually came upon the opportunity to go see him. He's on a book tour presently, and he had a stint in London this past week. You may have noticed because he's done the interview rounds on Channel 4 specifically. He's promoting his book, 12 Rules for Life, an anecdote for chaos, I think is the subtext.
I think his claim to fame is that he is a Canadian professor. His YouTube channel got shut down.
Canadian professor Jordan Peterson shot to fame when he opposed a transgender law that infringed badly on the free speech rights of Canadians. Now, his speech is being suppressed in a different way. Google blocked him from his YouTube account. We don't actually know why, because Google refused to specify the thought crime that warranted this censorship.
And then there was a huge online petition for them to reestablish his YouTube channel, and he was successful in doing that. So I think that was his claim to fame. I think that's how he broke through to the masses. And then how I came upon him was because of YouTube's amazing algorithm, and that we are a postmodern family looking up, trying to be traditional and value. It actually came up as a related video when he was talking about the importance of marriage. And I watched it and I thought, man, this guy is really good, because he's talking about empirical facts, empirical data that points to the importance of a man and a woman getting married. So now he's still making videos every week at least. He has a lot of video content online of him giving lectures in a classroom setting, in a university setting. And I find that really interesting because he's teaching all these young people about these, we would call them traditional values. Why women seem to be unhappy, because career and home kind of tug at them around, late 20s, 30s. These things are now, they've been labeled as taboo. They've been labeled as oppressive, or a part of this patriarchy that is enslaving women.
I would say that many women around the age of, I would say between 28 and 32, have a career family crisis that they have to deal with.
There's there's like a set of faith and dogma today that you can't question unless you want the Inquisition to come after you. And this is what happens with him.
Yeah, and but the thing is, he's so smart. He's so well read. He's been treating patients for years and years, dealing with their struggles, seeing them, personally, one-on-one. It's not just him reading books. He's interacting daily with people.
And I'm sure experimenting with them and sort of trying things out and seeing the change that occurs in their life.
Yeah.
The reason why he's an incredible encouragement to people like us is that he's providing a real solid, evidential basis for traditional values. The name Postmodern Family kind of inspired by a talk in which he talked about postmodernism, and he said basically postmodernism is meaningless. It means that there's no truth, and it's like this term that you can take to mean anything. And we took that on and said, well, postmodern will mean literally the age after the modern age, and we'll fill that vacuum with the values that we want to fill it with. And no one can object, because postmodernism actually just means the destruction of knowledge, of truth. So who are you to say that we're misusing the word postmodern, because postmodern just means there's no truth? I went to see him in London. I hopped on the train in the afternoon. I got there probably half hour, 45 minutes early, because I wanted to get a good seat, and the main section was already full.
Oh, there wasn't assigned seat.
There was no assigned seating. It was open seating. It was like 85% young men, 15% women, and older people. And people are generally kind, and actually, they don't sound English. Actually, it's a lot of foreigners, Europeans, Eastern Europeans, Americans, Canadians. The tickets were sold out, and so much so, there was so much demand that he created 2 extra talks. It was interesting seeing the man say the similar things and use the similar mannerisms that you see on the video. And another reason why I'm convinced that the audience was not predominantly English was that as soon as he walked out, he got a standing ovation.
Is that not British?
I've been to concerts and stuff, and not even, in America, I think people are kind enough that they give a standing ovation at the end of everything, almost. You might not get a curtain call, but you'll get a standing ovation.
But remember, we went to see Ravi Zacharias, and we did give him a standing ovation when he walked on the stage.
So they all stood up right when he came out, and when they all sat down, he just looked at us and smiled and said, well, that was nice. And, he was really touched by it and smiled. And then he went through the 12 steps in his book and tried to explain the basis for each one of the 12 steps. Separate from the book, he's actually going through he has a series that he's going through
on podcast
in which he goes through the Bible. I mean, there are 2 things that are really astonishing to a liberal progressive ear. And number one, it's that he could think it rational for there to be a factual and scientific basis for traditional values. And number 2, that Western civilization could be based on Christianity, and that could be a good thing. So he's nonchalant about dropping things like, the reason why society is so messed up today is because we've lost the Judeo-Christian sense of suffering. Today, people think that, I'm the only one that's suffering and it's unfair. It's because of some power relationship or power abuse that I'm suffering and they're not suffering. And my goal in life is to stop suffering by becoming the powerful one in the hierarchy.
By overtaking the
Yeah.
powerful one.
Yeah. So, whereas he'll say the Judeo-Christian view of suffering is that it's universal, that it's the plight of man, and that your job isn't to stop suffering, but it is to deal with it.
And that's so true. If you think
Yeah.
about it, there's going to be suffering in your life. Even if you're the richest man in the world, or you're the most beautiful woman, or all of these things, you're still going to have suffering.
Yeah, so, and I don't know for sure whether he's Christian or not. I suspect he's not, but the thing is that he's so honest in his pursuit of truth that even if Christianity is true, he'll follow the path and end up there, even if it takes him many years. But he's not embarrassed about saying, Christianity has it right on this, and that. In the talk, in fact, he said the core or the heart, I forget the word, the core, heart, or the center of Western civilization is Christ. And I could feel the astonishment in the room, the breaths that were, held at that moment. Like, I can't believe he said that. That's so controversial. Aren't we all past Christian? Aren't you like a professor in a university, atheist? It's like mind-boggling that someone like that could say that. So, on those two scores, it really makes Jordan Peterson quite. It's really a testament to him that he'll pursue the truth wherever it leads, and when he's found it, he'll defend it no matter what. Anyway, he goes through the book in the talk, and there are various moments where people clap, like just an impromptu clap because it really resonated with them.
A little bit wrong. It's unbelievably wrong. It's mind-bogglingly wrong. Hierarchies have been around for a third of a billion years.
I don't know if I'm going to make any inferences from their reactions, but when he would say things like the idea that masculinity is inherently evil and should be destroyed is evil in and of itself, and people just started clapping, I was like, oh, okay, that means that the guys here are trying to find a way to be masculine, and they feel oppressed by the current situation. Or the other one I was really interested to see that they started clapping was he went into his little story about lobsters.
That I write about lobsters is because there's this idea that hierarchical structures are a sociological construct of the Western patriarchy. And that is so untrue that it's almost unbelievable. And they have a nervous system attuned to the hierarchy. And that nervous system runs on serotonin, just like our nervous systems do. And it's part of my attempt to demonstrate that the idea of hierarchy has absolutely nothing to do with sociocultural construction, which it doesn't.
When he made the point that hierarchy in human society has its roots in 750 million years ago in this chemical mechanism of moderating happiness with serotonin, and therefore the patriarchy isn't some invention of the white men of Western Europe, people just started clapping. The ticket for the talk came with the book, and he actually signed the book. And at the end of the talk, he offered up to whoever wanted to queue up that he would personalize the signature.
So the aftermath. So he's now being engaged by these channels for interviews to see. Basically, he's stirring the pot, or he's ruffling some feathers. And
That's not his intent. His intent is
no.
just to speak the truth that he has found.
Yes.
That's it.
But his topic is very controversial in our modern day. This particular interview with this lady from Channel 4 was just hilarious, how she had an inability to rein in her outrage and to think about what he was saying. So almost like everything he was saying was like a trigger for her, and she would just go off on that trigger.
The gender pay gap stands at just over 9%. So it seems to a lot of women that they're still being dominated and excluded, to quote your words back to you.
It does seem that way, but multivariate analysis of the pay gap indicate that it doesn't exist.
But that's
So
just
you
not
do,
true,
you-
is it?
That's
I mean, that
absolutely
9% pay gap, that's a gap between median hourly earnings
Yeah.
between men and women.
But there's
That
multiple,
exists.
yeah, but there's multiple reasons for that. One of them is gender, but it's not the only reason.
You're saying, well, that's just a fact of
No,
life.
it's saying
Women
it
aren't
doesn't
necessarily
matter.
going to get to the top.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't matter either.
You're saying
I'm
it's a
saying there
fact
are
of life.
multiple reasons for it.
Yeah, but
and that
those
aren't being
reasons,
taken into
why
account.
should women put up with those reasons? Why should
Why should
women be
put up with it?
content
I'm not
not
saying
to
that
get
they
to
should
the top?
put up with it. I'm saying that the claim that the wage gap between men and women is only due to sex is wrong. And it is wrong. There's no doubt about that. The multivariate analysis have been done.
Okay.
See, because I'm very, very, very careful with my words.
So the pay gap exists, you accept that. But you're
Yes.
saying, I mean, the pay gap between men and women exists. You're saying it's not because of gender, it's because women are too agreeable to ask for pay rises. So
It's
make
one
them-
of the reasons.
It's a real testament to the decline of the ability to think on your feet and to think critically. Because this person, this interviewer was not actually listening and processing what was being said. She was just looking for flags by way of words. And those words would raise flags and raise emotions in her. And that emotion would then drive her to just spew out the talking
The
points,
jargon,
the liberal
the
talking
feminist
points.
jargon that you get very commonly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was really hilarious to watch, but really embarrassing for her, I think. Really embarrassing for her. But then at the same time, I could think that most feminists and most people that are in this mindset will think it's amazing that she won. You know, they, you know, I feel like there are people
No
there
way,
who
no
will
way.
think that she won this debate or whatever, that she
Right.
exposed him for the
Misogynist fraud that he
he
is.
was.
Any commenter on this video, if you think this woman won the debate, comment on why you think she won the debate.
that she exposed him.
Yeah.
No. He's so intelligent. It's really, really good. So basically, if you guys like Jordan Peterson, we do too. We're with you and you're with us.
That's right. That's right. In the league of personalities that line up in some great sense with what we're all about, you have Jacob Rees-Mogg, you have Jordan Peterson. Thanks for watching this recap and commentary on Professor Jordan Peterson. We hope you enjoyed it. If you like this episode, you like our channel, subscribe, or also visit us at patreon.com/thepostmodernfamily.
Hit that subscribe button if you like this video. And thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.